when it gets to the end of that process and they are proposing an offer to the candidate then tends to tell us or tell the recruiter to say, this offer you're giving to me is quite lower than my
Than expect,
expectation.
yeah.
But they tend to forget that the industry or the organization they apply to is a structured
Yeah.
organization. And when you're dealing with structured organizations, right, you have situations where they are working with the different stratas, the different
Different
hierarchy,
bands.
the different bands. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Expat Explorer, where we discuss employment, the myth, the fact, and everything in between.
That's right.
My name is Mide, your host. I'm a globally certified HR professional with 10 years of experience servicing the FSI, ENR, tech, and consulting sectors. Over here with me is my co-host and cousin.
Hi guys, my name is Aisha and I'm also a HR professional and I work in the tech space. And also Ramadan back to all the Muslims out there fasting, and I'm also fasting. So yeah, welcome everyone.
Welcome back to the second episode in our recruitment series.
Welcome.
If you missed the last episode, make sure you run back in time.
Run,
watch. Don't walk, run. Make sure you go watch it. So
Yeah.
we uploaded it last week. So make sure you go to our YouTube channel and watch it. If you've not subscribed, you're doing something wrong.
What are you even doing?
I'm telling you,
I'm going to find you.
You need
Just
to
kidding,
actually
just kidding.
subscribe and get in tune with everything that we're going to be bringing to the table.
Yeah.
Today
We
we're
drop a lot of nuggets and like important, like things that you have that is really useful to everyone. So yeah.
Absolutely. Today we're going to be discussing the structures around recruitment, everything that happens at the back end of recruitment. First, it is very important to know that different organizations practice different things,
Yeah.
based off their structure because they have different philosophies.
Mhm.
Most times, organizations in the financial sector,
Yeah.
organizations in the oil and gas, in the consulting space, they tend to practice like a vertical system or a structure of employment, while other organizations, mostly the tech organizations, tend to practice like a horizontal
yeah,
system.
like a flat.
Yes, a flat structure kind of employment system, right? That's like their philosophy because you can actually have persons coming into the organization without necessarily having so many industry experience, but they'll just employ the person because the person has the skills or the spark knowledge, to come into the organization and of course deliver value.
Of course.
So how it actually links to recruitment, sometimes you get to find candidates apply for opportunities, right? And when it gets to the end of that process and they are proposing an offer to the candidate then tends to tell us or tell the recruiter to say, this offer you're giving to me is quite lower than my expectation.
Yeah.
But they tend to forget that the industry or the organization they apply to is a structured organization. And when you're dealing with structured organizations, right, you have situations where they are working with the different stratas, the different hierarchy,
bands.
the different bands,
grades,
compensation and benefit. So you have grade one. Grade one can have grade 1A, B, C, D. And because all of that, those grades have their different bands, and for each band, right, there is an experience required for the person to actually be considered for the role. So many a times people don't understand that part. And so when they are giving the offer, they reject it to say, oh no, what they were expecting. For instance, you apply for the role of a junior level, let's say marketer, right? And they offer you, let's say 300,000 as an entry level, right? And maybe 300,000 is like the baseline kind of compensation for that particular grade. And then you come back to say, oh no, I'm currently working here and they're paying me 500. So you guys need to up
like
your review to about 700 or 600.
Yeah.
That won't work, baby girl, because, or even baby boy. that one basically for everybody. Because I mean, every organization works with what is in their policy,
Yeah.
what their philosophy is in terms of hiring. So
Yeah.
you need to understand that. But for the tech system, most of them actually practice a
And
very flatter.
it's not to say that I just wanted to add, like, it's not to say that okay, if you are offered, like, you are extended like an offer that doesn't work for you, you
Mhm.
shouldn't communicate that. Sometimes you can communicate and like express yourself and just communicate with with the recruiter. And if it's possible, for maybe based on your experience, or maybe they gave you the lowest grade on that the lowest band on that grade, it's possible that maybe they can go maybe like two notches higher or a notch higher.
Exactly.
So don't think that, oh, because they've offered me this, so I have to accept. You can still like communicate like your displeasure if it's not what you expect. Okay, so I just wanted to add that.
Okay, I mean, that's true
Yeah.
because organizations sometimes are not rigid.
Mm-hmm.
They also tend to evaluate at what level you might operate in. If they consider you for a particular grade.
Yeah.
For instance, you're coming in as an entry level. Most times, organizations have entry level
Yeah.
staff at the same pay
Yeah.
band,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
for
Sure.
instance, if you're coming in at a little bit higher level, right, from an entry level, what they can do is to assess, your competencies, your
Mm-hmm.
certifications, and then place you at a higher band, given that you have a very robust competence,
Yeah.
right? But for someone that has just done menial activities, they might just want to give the person the barest minimum
Yeah.
or the minimum on that pay
Period.
band, right? Aisha, I'd like you to tell us about the different stages of recruitment because, of course, when candidates apply, they are always hasty to wanting to get
Yeah.
feedback, forgetting that
There's
there are
something going
there are
on.
things happening in at the back end.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Approvals have to be given.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Different things
Mm-hmm.
have to be
Mm-hmm.
approved.
Yeah.
So please just give us an eye opener as
Okay.
to what really happens at the back
Yeah.
end.
So, last week we spoke about like, oh, sourcing for the CVs and all.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just like, okay, you've sourced for the CV, then everybody just get to go and call people for interview. There are lots of things that go into before you get to like the interview stage. And like we said, like different organizations have like different stages and different structure that they work with. There are some organizations that, oh, you need to go through like a form of assessment. It could be like virtual assessment. It could be like all these tests,
Psychometrics.
all these test partners that you just do online. It could be like, or even you just come to, they'll provide you like what's it called, like a location where you can take tests. Like for example, like
Competent-based
NMPC,
tests.
if like they give you like a location, you just write the exam. There are organizations that do that before you even go through to the interview stage. So like when you apply for a role, just be patient. Like maybe candidates feel like, oh, they're not seeing this, maybe they haven't seen it, so I need to like check. It's good to check up and to follow up, it's fine. But it doesn't mean like, oh, maybe the recruiter or the company is not like working on it. So different stages that can come up like in recruitment. For example, after sourcing the CV, you've already shortlisted like your candidates. Maybe you have like maybe like 2,000 applications, and you've been able to cut them down, like shortlisted them to like maybe let's say like 50, or like, yeah, let's say 50 for example. Then you want to just bring the number down to 20, because you can't interview 50 people. I'm sorry,
Mm-hmm.
but that's ridiculous in my own opinion. So you just you want to cut that number down to like 20. What do you do? Like you let them go through like an assessment. You can give them an assessment. I'm talking from my own experience, actually.
Experience.
You let them go through like an assessment stage, so they do the assessment. So you can have like a cutoff mark, maybe like, oh, anybody that scores below 50 or above 50 and all. Then when you are able to cut that number down, also it's not just like based on my own experience, like when I'm recruiting for like maybe front end, back end, it's not like they are doing um what's it called, like computer based tests. You can like send them like a problem to solve. It
Mm-hmm.
can be different kinds of tests. It could be like a case study that you want them to work on, just to give a presentation. Then when you like go through it, it's not just like the like you can even give like people in that department, like the department that you are recruiting for, like the
Absolutely.
experts there, to go through it to see like, okay, does this thing like even meet the expectation and all. Then once you're able to like streamline that number down to like maybe like 20, then you go through to like interview. Then the interviews, it's not like, oh, you just have like, there are some companies that, there are some roles that require like different stages of interview. There are some roles that you just do like, oh, one interview, and after the interview you get your feedback and maybe you get the role or you don't get it. There are some roles that require like maybe like as much as like 5 7 stages of interview. It just depends on like the level of experience they're looking for or the role that they are recruiting for. So just for candidates really, once they apply, they just want feedback. They just want to know what's up. Oh, did I get job or not? So I just wanted to, okay, just put it out there. That just be patient. Just go through the process. Put your best in all the process that you come out. If you apply to a place that they are asking you to do an assessment, do it in good faith. Give it your all. If they get back to you and oh, you get go through this to the interview stage, they call you for the first interview, you are there. They call you for the second interview, you show up, you give your best in every aspect of the way. It's just to like tell you that different organizations have different stuff. So don't, it's not like a one size fits all. Don't feel like because oh, I applied for this job, I just did one interview and I got it. Doesn't mean like maybe company B now their own could be like, oh, you have to do like 3 stages of interview. So don't be discouraged by like companies that have like more tasking and interview like recruitment process and all. So yeah, that's that about like the stages of the recruitment side. So before you get to from that point A of like, oh, submitting your CV, then getting the offer, it's a very long and twisted way that you don't see on the on the front end as the applicant. So but on the recruiter's end is a lot of work that goes into it. So just have that in mind.
I also would like to put it out there, right, that candidates should pay attention to, what is best practice, because in a proper system, right, you're supposed to have at least a 1 month window for you to actually get feedback, on your recruitment process. So if you apply for a job and in 1 month you don't get any response, it could be that they did not proceed with you. I mean, I like what some forward thinking recruiters are doing now. Most times when you apply for an interview, you apply for a job within an organization, they have like an auto response that tells you that if you don't get feedback in 2 to 3 weeks, just know that you were not selected. And which is a very fantastic approach. If you know that you're not using an automated process in your organization, right, it is good to actually have those auto replies to let the candidates know that this is your timeline to fill in the role, or to actually following up on your processes, right? So that the candidates also have this at the back of their mind that if they don't get response within this period, they are not selected, right? Another thing I also wanted to mention, right, is about the Nigerian system, especially the public sector, right? And this is not to, I'm not trying to witch hunt the government sector, but of course, the way the government system operates is totally different from the way the private sector operates. I remember one time, I mean, when I was still very fresh at the entry level stage of my career, NNPC had put out an ad to say they are recruiting.
I think everybody
experienced that. There was a location that was communicated and all of it. As a candidate, right, don't have it at the back of your mind that they already have their candidates. Never be that. Be a positive minded person. Always go with the mindset that you are the one that will get it. Yes. And trust me, the universe listens, and it will definitely bring to pass whatever you desire, right? So most of the time, the government system would invite you for interviews, and you would not get feedback. Trust me. And even when you get feedback, it won't be within that 1 month window, and they would not give you that automated response telling you that if you don't get any response in 2 weeks, in this and that, then just consider yourself an excluded applicant, right? So just try to understand the businesses you're dealing with. When you apply, if you are dealing with a big firm, know that your feedback would not come until a longer time frame.
Yeah. And
Because
okay, when you're done.
what most of these organizations actually deal with loads of applicants.
Yeah.
There have been times where I'm giving an instance now. A notable organization that I know of actually put out an ad for internship, and trust me, the number of applicants that they got was about 32,000.
That's wild. It's
32,000 candidates applied within 48 hours. Now
Wow.
imagine a situation whereby the window for the application is about 2 weeks. You'll be dealing with loads of applicants.
Wow.
So in that case, if the organization is not using an automated process, almost definitely you don't expect. I mean, if you are human, if you're not a robot listening to me, you don't expect someone to be able to get across to you in 1 month, because it is very unrealistic.
And also, what I wanted to say is like some organizations would wait till like they get to fill that role before they like discard every other person, because you don't like you're still maybe you're interviewing some people, you're still checking to see if they're like you can maybe they are not as impressive as you want them to be, and you feel like, oh, you still want to check more to see if there's any more. Okay, that can also extend the timeline of like, oh, getting more, because you're like, oh, let me close this out and know that okay, I already have the person I'm looking for before I give feedback to the other candidates.
Okay, thank you very much. Again, it would be nice to emphasize that there are different stages to recruitment. Of course, there's the application stage, and then there's the stage where the interviewers. Sorry. I mean, it's natural. This episode by force by fire. Okay, you can have your 2 minutes of fame, right? Okay, so it's important to know that depending on the organization you're dealing with, there are different stages to being hired. There's the process. There are lots of things that happen, even outside of Nigeria, right? You have situations whereby persons will first complete the local interview, and then they will now have to extend another level, another layer of the interview process to someone outside of the country. And stuff like this happen when you are dealing with a global brand, and whatever activities you're going to be running would involve persons in other markets, right? International markets. So, for instance, a zonal business manager for an inter or a multinational company, right, would have to do multiple layers of interviews, because you are going to be probably the zonal business manager for West Africa. It simply means that they would need to probably even test your French skills, assess how well you can cope in the francophone countries, and also operate in the local countries, right, in the English speaking countries. Generally, when applications are received, depending on the level, you go through all of the different stages that are befitting for that particular level of role that you've applied for.
Okay, so thank you guys for tuning in today. It was a really nice session, and I learned a few I mean, I'm sure you guys learned a lot of things here. So, and I learned a few things, so some things I didn't really know about. So yeah, and also we've received like lots of applications, and we're currently working on them. And congratulations in advance to the winners. So yeah, see you guys in the next episode. Ramadan Barak once again. So yeah, tell them to like. What should they do? What should they do?
Like, subscribe. Go back to the previous episode. Watch it.
Like, if you watched it and you not like, go back and like it. If you have not subscribed, go back and subscribe.
For you to have been here to this point, we appreciate you for staying tuned.
Yeah. Thank you so much for the support. Thank you. Bye.